AI assistants are everywhere. So which one is right for you if you're interested in it? Because Claude Cowork and ChatGPT's Codex, while similar, they're just not the same, which is why today we're getting into Codex and seeing exactly if this one is a better tool, if not better, for you. So what is an AI assistant and what is Codex? Essentially, Codex is kind of taking all of that code and the assistant side and putting it together to make the perfect assistant for you. Welcome to GBRLIFE Reviews, where I test the tools, platforms, and, well, everything, so you don't have to. Don't forget to like and subscribe, and let's get straight into this. Here you have Codex download, because it's not just web-based. As a matter of fact, Codex is mostly the app side. That means you are installing a desktop app for your computer. They do have the Mac version as well. Whatever you're using is what is going to come up to download. But essentially, if you were to go straight over to your website and your account with ChatGPT, it's going to basically pull you straight into either chat or work. Work is Codex. So you can use it right here on the web, but it's not going to be the same as the app. And here we have the app. It looks the same. It feels the same, but why is it different? Because here on the app, after you've downloaded it, it's basically going to work with your computer. The web is going to work more web-based, more internet-based. A little bit of proof of that. If I were to select the plugins and say connect plugins and browse all plugins, you're going to see a ton of options. Right here, you've got 6 more featured. In addition to all of this, you have 326 more for productivity. Creativity has 75 more, and this list goes on and on. But if I were to go to the website, you can see there are no options in addition to what you're seeing on the screen. However, it does have access to something like Gmail and a lot of other Google tools. But if I go back here to the actual app, you can see there is no Gmail. It's not the same, but very similar. So when you're using Codex, the idea, as I mentioned earlier, is whether or not you're looking more for the code side or for the chat side, assistant side. And if you're looking more for the assistant side, the desktop app, and what I really love about Codex so far is that this desktop app is made to really make your life more simple. So while it doesn't have all of the options, because it has so many inside of this tool, you have an opportunity to take these options, these tools, and do something as simple as scheduling a task or having a conversation with it and having it do something like give you your morning brief. But see here, because it wasn't connected to Gmail on this side, it couldn't give me that. But it can connect with Outlook. And here you can connect your Gmail, you can connect Apple, you can connect so many of those mail apps, which would allow you to still get your brief in the morning. And anything else you might be needing in regards to that very traditional assistant that you're looking for, because it's based off of that computer side. So let's take a look at what this can actually do. Now, I've already done this, but if I go over to Codex, I can actually go directly to the plugin, and I can say, try it right now, or I can go down and look at the skills and decide to use one of the skills that it brings to the table. These skills are pre-packaged with Codex. Can you bring your own? Absolutely. If I go back to plugins, you can create your own plugin right here. You can also add it from the marketplace. So you get to choose how you want to use these plugins, if not bringing your own. But coming back over here, say I want to use Canva. I've already done this, but right here, you're seeing the results of me asking Canva within Codex, create some social media posts for Codex that would align with GBRLIFE Reviews. Why was I able to say GBRLIFE Reviews? Because ChatGPT already knows me and already knows all of the different aspects of GBRLIFE. So I'm able to use Codex in the exact same manner without having to really worry about or ask in addition to, or supply in addition to, what it should already know, because it has all of that in its memory. So if you're looking at it and you're asking it questions and you're very specific, it will create wonderful options for you using what you already provided and creating with those plugins. So I asked it to work with Canva. It did. It gave me option 1 that you've already seen, option 2 for a social media post, option 3, and option 4. Now, are these great? To me, no. They're not my favorite options, but you can also see in this that I'm actually inside of Canva within Codex on my desktop app, which is another reason why it's really great to use the app on your desktop. Again, if you're looking to use this with your files, because now I can directly add all of this directly onto my computer and continue to work with it like I was never even on the web, although it is using the internet, so you can't just get off of that. Another thing it can do is your priorities, because it's looking into all of these apps. I added it to Notion and it just created a very basic priorities, but within Notion. So I can still go over to all of these apps, find everything that I worked with Codex with, or I can directly work with it onto my computer, because right here on the settings side, you have computer use. This means you're able to install and work with it directly on your computer. So now let's talk about things I do not like, because that was everything I really liked. And that is, this is a lot of information. ChatGPT is inside of your computer. So who's to say what it can and can't do inside here? I don't know that I like that. And if you were to go over to the website side, remember, it doesn't have all of these different options. So you're getting a limited use on the website, or not just a lot of use on the app, but so much use that it's inside of your computer and can access anything the second that you say it should or can. At this point, I can't even determine for sure that it's actually not accessing that information, whether or not I gave it permission. So, not definitely a fan. Now, another thing I really don't like is when this was created, I don't love that it took forever to do it. It's saying it's only going to take a minute. It took about 5. And in addition to that, every single time I go into this, it's asking whether or not I want to recreate these designs. I don't. And so when I'm trying to just look at this, I can go over here and look over at the output, but it's constantly bringing me back over to the actual browser. Sometimes I want to just stay within Codex, within ChatGPT, and it's not letting me do that. Now, this doesn't mean this won't get fixed down the line, but right now, today, this is very annoying. And the last thing I don't like, the price. Let's talk about how much all of this is going to cost. Okay, here we have the pricing. We've got free, Go, Plus, and Pro. Now, this doesn't mean that all of the pricing that you're seeing in front of you is bad, but it doesn't mean that all the pricings that you see in front of you are usable with Codex. You do have the free version with limited Codex access, which means you can download it onto your desktop, but it doesn't mean it's going to work to the degree that it could work. Maybe you're only getting to really talk to it a little bit, but is it going to actually give you what you need? Only way to find out is to use the free version and actually start using it. But I will say, especially with the fact that you can purchase things, you're not going to get much. It's going to be quite limited. Then you have your Go, but this is really just for conversations. So you're not going to pay $8 a month. You're going to have to go over to Plus at a minimum to get actual usage and everything you're looking for in an assistant. You're going to do that off of Plus because it literally states expanded Codex usage, but it also talks about your deep research options. Essentially, they're making it where this is what you need for that actual basics. So you're going to spend at least $20 a month to use Codex. And you can also use the business and enterprise side. You can pay $20 a month, and instead of doing everything as an individual, you're instead going to say, I'm a business, let's use it this way. And that's completely fine depending on what you're using it for. Because for example, this side, you're going to use tools like Microsoft 365, Google Drive, Slack, GitHub, Linear, Figma, and a lot more, versus the other side with Plus, they don't really say that you're going to have access to those things. So you do have a few more limits off your Plus individual versus your business side. And then you have Pro. If all you do is ChatGPT all day, every day, this is your pro side. This is what you're going to use. Wow, with the price. But that's that. So now let's get into the most important question of all. Is Codex worth it? In my opinion, yeah. I would say that Codex is absolutely worth it for anybody who's using ChatGPT as their main AI tool, assistant. I was going to say assistant, but tool just in general. If everything you're doing is based off of ChatGPT, I would absolutely suggest continuing along and getting the app and downloading it because it also works with code. There is no need to go anywhere else, and it has access to your computer. There is really nothing else you need to do. You're a ChatGPT fan? Codex is the place for you. But I would not suggest using Codex or ChatGPT if you do not want ChatGPT OpenAI to have access to your computer and all of your documents and pretty much everything, because let's be for real, they will. Even if they say they won't, yes, they will. Know that they're doing that. I would not suggest using it if you are worried about security at all. And the last reason is because you're using other tools more often. Because at the end of the day, if you're using Claude all the time, why would you go over to ChatGPT Codex? Cowork is going to have as many options for you. Maybe not every single plugin, but it has more code. And that is not something you need to know how to do. You just simply need to ask Claude how to do it. So it just depends on who you use the most is really what it boils down to. And how much access you're willing to, provide all of these AI tools. And that's the reason for the GBRLIFE rating. I'm giving Codex a 4 out of 5. I'm sure you thought I was going to give it less. It's losing an entire point because, let's be for real, that security is not there. And they have access into everything. So I have to take an entire point off from that. But everything else, it does it. Does it do it perfectly? No, but here's the thing about OpenAI. They're always improving. Just a year ago, they didn't have all of these different plugins. Today, they do. So many more out there. And they're just going to continue to expand. So if there's anything I mentioned today that wasn't great, other than the security side of things, they're going to fix that within probably a couple months. So I can't really say that it's not going to function fantastically for you on a day-to-day. It's going to, if you're okay with the security side of things. And that's it for this week's review. But that doesn't mean that you have to stop here. It just means that you can go check out the companion blog, go to GBRLIFE.com, and let me know what you're thinking about Codex. Drop that in the comments below. Because Codex is a great tool, but there's so much it can do, and I'm sure there's something I haven't touched on at all, and you can tell us all about it in the comments below. But again, that's it for this week. So where should you go now? To the next review, right here, where we're going to keep talking about Claude Cowork. You're not going to want to miss this one. It might be the right AI assistant next.
Not your bit less, logging through the motherhood maze with GBRLIFE, stay